Thank you very much. So Sam and Aaron, thank you very much indeed for joining us this morning. Thank you. So then moving to Halswell-Hornby-Riccarton, Mike Mora. Welcome to the table.
Good morning, Deputy, councillors, staff. It gives us great pleasure to present our Halswell-Hornby-Riccarton Community Board report to you this morning. We've got the one part A, which will come up later. We've got some slides here, but we'll just go through the decisions that we've made under delegation. We've recognised a new residents association in our ward, the Greater Hornby Residents Association, and we've approved for tree removals in the Henderson's Basin area for the Eastman's drainage reserve, and a lot of the city are getting their railway level crossings actually brought up to standard. So that's it. The significant projects that we've got is strengthening community funding. That's all starting off again in the process. Then we go to Harrington Park toilet. Was on schedule, of course, but a lot of these projects have been held up now with inclement weather, but work is underway. We've been informed. Work is underway. So we go now to our slideshow, and we've got young mums and shuffle bums. That's been going for quite a few years, and our community board was instrumental in getting that set up. I did go there last year to their open day, and it was absolutely wonderful, absolutely wonderful. So that's a very useful group and facility for young mums to go with their youngsters and have a bit of a chat and a chinwag. And we've had quite a lot of community planting days in our ward too recently. So I know that we're taken out some trees in Henderson's Basin for the Eastmans, but we're very, very proactive as a community to plant more trees. So we've been very busy in the Kahurangi Drainage Reserve in Wigram, Ngāpunawai, of course, which is a major sports hub as well, but putting in more plants around there, and in Halswell Quarry. So it's really good to see the community getting out, like the last one they had up in Halswell Quarry. I think they virtually had to take pickaxes with them to break the ice when they were planting it in the frost. So, but the community do get in behind that, and that's really, really good. And our community board also last Wednesday, was it last Wednesday? Yeah, we had our community service awards where we there were 7 community service awards and 2 youth service awards. So that's something that our community board really, and I think it's been the highlight of all community boards, is the presentation of community service awards. But it is it's lovely to have the Iranian Society, their dance group, performing for us as well. And it just made me think that that different cultures, when you have the music of that culture, people want to dance, and it wouldn't matter what country or what part of the world you actually go to. If the music starts, people will dance, and it's just something that we do as humans. And you know, I was a dancer in one of my previous lives as well, but anyway, that's. But it is really, really good, and the venue that we have for that is the Riccarton Racecourse Tea House, which has been very, very well restored, and our community board was part of that restoration team as well. There was a tea house restoration trust that was set up, and it had members of our community board on it on that trust as well. So if you think back to what that tea house was like when we first laid eyes on it, it was virtually demolition material, and we've turned it right back into a venue that people are really pleased to go and visit. And and we go now to Kilmarnock Enterprise. Of course, we know that they used to be in Riccarton. If you ever go into Kilmarnock Enterprises and see the people and see the work they do, they're absolutely lovely bunch of people, and they just feel like they're doing something really constructive, and they are. So they've moved to Wigram now, but for over 60 years, the Kilmarnock Enterprises have been providing occupational therapy and productive work for people with disabilities. So we're really proud to have, they're a star group in our ward. And Hornby Hub has gone to the dogs. Now this is really interesting. I think it's the first where they've actually opened them all up for people to take their pets. So it was estimated that there was over 100 pets there, mainly dogs, but one lone, brave bunny rabbit. And the bunny rabbit survived the experience, which is really good. They had a vet there and pet behavioural advice, so I think it's something, because our pets and animals are all part of our community, they're part of our lives, and they wonder where we go when we go out to, or they're sitting in the car. But anyway, they had the opportunity at the Hornby Mall, Hornby Hub, to actually go inside and sniff the meat. So the other thing that we've got is we've come up with it's work in progress, isn't it? We're going to be presented with with our report on our community board plan to see how we're progressing with that. And the board is being prepared for when a resource consent application is lodged in Templeton on a boundary with Selwyn, that we need to be involved in that process, our community board. The council's delegated that role to us to be in that space. And tomorrow evening at 4 o'clock we're receiving the hearings panel's decision on the reclassification of Denton Park. So that's another step in the process. If hopefully we'll get there one day, but anyway, so we're just looking forward to that step along the way. So I'm not going to ask any questions because that's your job.
That's great. All right.
I got reminded about that last time from the mayor.
Thank you, Mike. And yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. That Denton Park decision is the end of a long process. You've obviously got a hearings panel recommendation that you're going to be considering, and whatever the outcome of that meeting, obviously we'll progress to what needs to happen next to make sure that we get on with the job of planning to build a pool in your part of the city. So
absolutely, we're not going to sit on our hands, Andrew.
Exactly. So all the best with that meeting. Now we do have some time for questions. Jimmy?
One question, but now related to the Denton Park. Okay. I just want to know what is the update, the status of Yourhurst Memorial Hall?
The Yourhurst Memorial Hall is a meeting coming up, I think, next week, is it not?
Engineers, council engineers and the community's engineers are meeting tomorrow on site.
Tomorrow.
The group has had 6 months to report back, but it's happening tomorrow. So at the moment, the Yourhurst Hall, there is a resolution on the table for demolition, but the community have asked for some more time for that to be considered. So tomorrow, both engineers will go through, then there'll be a recommendation back through the board to council on where to go.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, because while last week, I think invited to the Yourhurst Rural Resident Association AGM, they mentioned one day before the council start being there, but both parties know any key to open.
They got that sorted now. Michael has the key and he will be there tomorrow, Jimmy.
I would have to say though, councillor, that the group has had money for an engineer for 6 months and have only just engaged an engineer now, so that has put staff in a very difficult position.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to
Okay, so Jimmy would like to move. Who would like to second? Vicky would like to...
No,
You've got a
I'd
question?
just like to add something, no, just by way of addition.
Yeah, sure.
Because you talked about the removal of 100 and something trees in the Eastman area, but you didn't mention that they were actually planting 12,500 native trees and 300,000 native plants in that area, and that the community board actually also added at least 500 edibles around the outside as well. So that's the second one of those that we've done recently, and so the amount of native trees and edibles being planted in that part of Christchurch and stormwater reserve areas is actually phenomenal, and the staff were doing an incredible job of redoing that. Sorry, it wasn't a question, it was just...
And great, thanks for adding that, that's brilliant.
Thank you.
Great. All right, so Jimmy's moved. Vicky, are you happy to second? Yep, great. So moved and seconded. All those in favour, please say aye. Against? That's carried. Thank you, and thanks, Mike, for your update.
Thank you. And thanks for people's understanding when I was out of action for a little while.
Well, it's good to have you back.
Thank you.
Good to see you back. Okay.